But yeah, man, when you go to looking at what your forefathers had going on, like I said, dudes will sit back and say Abraham had more than one wife. No, he didn't, because he didn't get with Keturah till Sarah was dead. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't fooled up with Hagar like that. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, you're just looking at cultural tradition. Men, when a woman couldn't have children, they gave a handmaid, and it would be as if that woman bared that child. So theoretically, in actuality, in reality, Jacob had two wives. That's who he was married to. But he only wanted Rachel. He didn't want Leah. Noah had one. Adam had one. So there's a standard of men who did that as forth as you talking about to line up with Yahuah. But like I said, man, people can do what they want. They business. You know, people get bent out of shape by stuff, man. Dude get beat, women wearing pants. Like, bro, who cares, bro? They doing this or doing that. Man, stand on what it is that you stand on. If people come at you about, well, hey, man, why you do this or do that, you can explain it to them. This is what we rock with. We don't do that over here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not overly concerned with what you got going on over there. That's y'all business, bro. I don't care. But if you step to me, I'll tell you, no, I don't rock with that. And I'm not going to compromise that to be cool with you, to be down with you. Because then that's what I was talking about earlier. That's you compromising your manhood to be accepted or to do this with that person. You can never do that. You can never compromise your manhood under any situation and circumstance. There's absolutely nothing on this earth that is worth your manhood. It's not. It's not. You know what I'm saying? The only way you'll find something being worth compromising your manhood is because you never tapped into it. If you ain't never tapped into your manhood, then you don't understand how valuable and sacred it is to not compromise it. You know what I'm saying? You don't really appreciate it because you give it away and you never develop it, so it's not important to you. You know what I'm saying? When you tap into it, it's important to you. You're not gonna compromise it. You know what I'm saying? It's not because you're gonna be like, no, that the outcome is not worth it. I'm not doing that. Zechariah chapter 1, man, verse 4.
Be you not as your fathers, unto whom the former prophets have cried, saying, thus saith Yahuah of hosts, turn you now from your evil ways and your evil doings.
But they did not what?
They did not hear
nor
hearken,
saith
Yahuah.
Your fathers.
Where are they?
The prophets.
Do they live forever?
Come on, man. What are we talking about here, man? Why are we looking at men? He said, where they at? He said, your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead. What are we talking about? Come on, man.
But my words and my statutes, which I commanded my servants, the prophets, did they not take hold of your fathers?
And they returned and said,
like as Yahuah of hosts thought to do unto us according to our ways and according to our doings.
So if he what?
Dealt with us.
That's right. Come on back to Haggai, man. 2 and 5, man. We're going to have to move. Because I'm telling you now, if the whole cut off, that's it.
The word that I covenanted with you when you came out of Egypt, so my ruach remain among you, fear you not.
Thus
saith Yahuah of hosts,
yet
once in a little while,
and I will
shake the Shamahim and the earth and the sea and the dry,
and I will shake
all nations,
and the desire
of all nations shall come, and I will fill this house
with what?
Esteem, saith Yahuah of hosts.
The silver,
mine,
the gold,
mine, saith Yahuah of hosts.
The esteem
of this latter house
shall be greater
than of the former,
saith
Yahuah of hosts.
See, the esteem of Adam, the esteem of the second Adam is greater than the first. See, you so worried about the house that Matthew 24:1. You so worried about that temple in Jerusalem, but the latter house that's coming down from Shamahim gonna be greater than that one. But you don't desire that which is greater. You always desire that which is lesser. It's the same token with more men, more women. You don't desire a greater man. You want a lesser man. You want a lesser man because he's easier to deal with. You know what I'm talking about? That's why you want a lesser God. He's easier to deal with. I told you before, man, men have to perform every day of their life. And everybody wants something from you. And as a man, you had to make sure you regulate that, man, because I done told you before, I'd be damned not let any of you niggas kill me. You know what I'm talking about? Because I feel like I got to run ragged for this, that, there, and the third. I'm not finna let you niggas kill me. I'm not finna let nobody stress me out and give me heart attacks and strokes. No, I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because I done seen people. No, I'm not doing that. Absolutely not. And I don't care what nobody think or say about it. Because don't nobody care about none of that junk till you're dead. Or till your health start failing. You know what I'm saying? I done told you before, I ain't really realized how bad it was until, like I said, I can't recall the first time I seen it, when they was like Christian pastors had a high level of suicide. And when you went to, if you ever took the time to delve into it, it's because people was running them ragged, and they felt like it was they decided that they had to prove that they were such a great servant by trying to attend to every single solitary person's needs and wants, and nobody gave a damn about them. You know what I'm saying? And the reason being a man is hard. I know a lot of people don't think it is, man, but being a man is not easy. It is not easy whatsoever. And that pressure of manhood is serious. You understand what I'm telling you? And I'm telling you right now that every man on this stream, in the clubhouse, and in this house can tell you that they done had a time period in their life where they looked themselves in the mirror and wondered if they have the capabilities and abilities at a particular point in time, if they could fulfill the duties of manhood. And the only people who could understand that is another man, because a woman could never understand it. She gonna look at you like you're crazy. You know what I'm talking about? Boy, it's been times from the way to manhood that almost every man walking this earth is thought that they did not have the wherewithal, the strength, or the ability to keep going. See, I told y'all, man, when my cousin took his life and he put in there why he did it, I understood what he was going through, because every young man done been there about, can I be able to be a man and actually produce? I don't know if I can do it. Because a woman don't understand the pressure that's on a man's shoulders. He got to produce every day of his life, and everybody wants something from it. But nobody wants to do or give him anything. That's what he got to live with, and he got to win every day. And if he got people he responsible for, then he got the pressure to make sure that he produce and come through, because these people, he's responsible for these people. And if he ain't able to perform at the level he want to perform, whether it's in his control or out of his control, he got to carry that. Don't nobody give a damn. All they want is, what did you do today? Hell, Janet Jackson got a damn song that say, what have you done for me lately? That is the life of a man. That's what everybody, I don't care what you did yesterday. What did you do today? I don't care about the win you had yesterday. What about the win for today? Why you think a lot of these young boys don't want to do nothing? Because they can't handle the pressure. Why you think a lot of dudes run off and abandon responsibilities? Because they can't handle the pressure. See, for a woman, she could be like, we got to carry this on. But at any given time, you could run across a man or a sucker who going to take that pressure off your shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Because you got a coochie. You can sell it. I ain't saying that to be funny, because you know you got all these women on OnlyFans. You got all these women prostituting. They know at any point in time, they can use their physicality to take that pressure off of them. The same way people climb about homosexuals. I know a lot of women who got to stay, when they were homeless, they had somewhere to stay because they were in-house vagina. Because they know if they just gave this man some buns, they'd have somewhere to stay. She broke and disgusted. But she know this coochie can get me somewhere to stay. You know what I'm talking about? A man, he don't have that leisure. He don't have that leisure. He gonna have to perform, and every man can't do it. Every man ain't got it in him. You know what I'm talking about? To look at adversity, to look at difficulties, to when the self-doubt come in, to when all this stuff creep in, to say that I will have the fortitude to overcome that. That I'll be willing to put myself in an uncomfortable position to win. That I'm not going to talk about a plan, I'm going to execute it and do everything necessary to execute it, even if I don't know how the hell I'm going to do it. You know what I'm talking about? People don't really understand that because they're like, men got it easy. But I told you about that white woman who dressed up like a man for 2 years, and you know how that story ended. You remember how I told you how that story ended for that white woman? She put a bullet in her brain. You know what I'm talking about? When she masqueraded as a man for 2 years, that woman left like this, and she said, I don't see how they do it. She put a bullet in her brain. There's a reason why men have such a high rate of suicide. You know what I'm saying? Especially young men. They have a very, very high rate of suicide. And it's not for the stuff that people talking about, oh, they don't have an outlet for their feelings. Oh, it go past that. It go past that. It's the pressure of manhood. You know how many men have put a bullet in their brain because they felt like their family was better off because they weren't performing at a level that was necessary? So they felt like they were more of a burden than a help. So they put a bullet in their brain. They jump off a bridge, they hang themselves, because that's what men are taught not to be, and that is a burden. You know what I'm talking about? A man, if a man has any type of manhood in him, he don't want to be a burden to another person. He don't want to be extra weight on their back, on their shoulders. And when a man feel like that's why some dudes leave their family. They just sit back and look at it. They better off without me because I'm not performing. What's the purpose of me being here? But people don't understand that because you don't give a damn. You don't give a damn because the only thing that you looking at this man for is, what can I get from him? He got some word, I want that. He got some money, I want that. He got some wisdom, I want that. He got this, I want that. He want God, I want. And you depleting from this person. That's why as a man, you have to make sure that you don't let these people kill you. You know what I'm talking about? You can't let the people kill you, man. Because people will do it. And look at your funeral and say, like, you know what? He should have took some time for himself. Nobody want to hear that crap, man. I'm dead now, nigga. You didn't give a damn about it while I was here. Yeah, man, you got to know that. Yeah, you got to know that. I figured that out a long time ago. Boy, these niggas will kill you, man. Niggas will run you ragged. You'll be a damn fool let these people drive you crazy like that. You know what I'm talking about? Them niggas be all right. You can't do it because, boy, don't nobody care. You know what I'm talking about? When I say don't nobody care, I mean they don't take the time to understand what it is that you carry. And the reason why they don't take the time to understand it is because they don't know what it's like to carry it. And they don't want to carry it. And if they understood what it was to carry it, then they would be more concerned about how they could be valuable and beneficial to you, understanding and knowing what you're carrying. Because most men are not going to walk around with what they got going on their face and in their attitude and how they interact with people. The men who do are just a lower caliber of men because they're not emotionally stable. See, emotionally unstable men will come through when things ain't going their way, and they'll take that out on their family. You know what I'm talking about? Some of them take it out on their family by drinking and using drugs, and then they come home and act a fool. You know what I'm talking about? That's what emotionally unstable men do. An emotionally stable man could be dealing with the whole world on his shoulders, and his family will never know it because he will not interact with them in a negative fashion. He's not going to call his wife out of name. He's not going to scream on the churn. He's not going to beat the churn. He ain't going to do none of that. He's going to deal with it because that's what a man has to do. You're going to have to suck it up and figure it out. See, but a lot of these beta male simp man, Johnny, and pussy niggas out here, they don't want to figure it out. They want the power of leadership, but not the burden and responsibility that go along with it, because they don't have the mental, spiritual, intestinal fortitude to be able to carry it. So sit your cow behind down somewhere, ho nigga, because ain't nobody listening to you. Don't nobody look at you and say, I want to be like you, because you were goofy and a weirdo. Come on with it, man. Matthew 24:1.
Yahuah went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came for to show him the buildings of the temple.
Mm-hmm.
Yahuah said unto them, see you not all these things?
That's right.
Truly I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another.
That shall not be what?
Thrown down.
They're going to throw him down. Let's come on. That's good. I didn't want you to see he was going to throw it down because the esteem of the latter house will be greater than the former. I know I mentioned 1 Kings 8, man, but what I want to deal with 1 Kings 8, we ain't going to get it tonight. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all willing, we'll do it tomorrow. But I want you to come over here to verse 44, man, in 1 Kings chapter 8. Then we're going to swing to Daniel. I hit you with the info from the Daniel fast, you did? And then what Daniel was doing in chapter 9 as it pertains to confessing. 1 Kings 8:44.
If your people go out to battle against their enemy, whithersoever you shall send them, and shall pray unto Yahuah toward the city which you have chosen, and the house that I have built for your name.
That's good. I just want you to see that because that's what we just read in Chronicles too, right? You know what I mean? So I want you to see that. So come over here to Daniel chapter 6. And of course, what you see in Daniel doing in Daniel chapter 6, he's just doing what the book told him to do. He just followed the word. That's all. Daniel 6:10. He just followed the word. Come on.
Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his Elohim, as he did aforetime.
Now, of course, you know, he also doing this because remember, he said, if you do this and you hear the prayer, make sure that these people have compassion on your people who have been taken exile. So the first thing we want to look at with Daniel, as it pertains to when people say he had a Daniel fast and things of that sort, they're really referring to chapter 10, but I give you the whole play. Daniel chapter 1 I didn't want to see what verse I want. Verse 8.
But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat.
He would not do what?
Defile himself with the portion of the king's meat.
Give him Proverbs 23:1 so y'all can know he just following the book.
When you sit to eat with a ruler, consider
when you sit to eat with a who?
With a ruler.
If he was said he didn't want to defile himself with the king's meat, Paul, then who he was sitting with? A who?
A ruler.
Listen to it.
Consider,
Proverbs 23:1. Consider what?
Diligently what before you.
To consider what?
What is before you.
Say you need to consider, you need to ponder, you need to weigh what's in front of your face. Listen to what it says.
And put a knife to your throat.
If you be a man of what?
Given to appetite.
Okay.
Be not desirous of his dainties.
Don't be desirous of his what?
Dainties.
Because they are what?
Deceitful meat.
Paul, so you got to understand, son, what that means. Just because this man done set some old nice food or nice spread in front of your face, you need to pay attention to it. He using it to deceive you. He said, I don't want to defile myself with this man food. So I don't want that. Come on back to Daniel chapter 1. See, people think he just did this stuff. He did what the book told him to do. See, if you did what the book told you to do, you might be a man greatly beloved like Daniel. But see, most of us don't even know the word well enough to know that what he was doing is what Solomon wrote to do. So when he sat down at Nebuchadnezzar's table, he considered what he said, no, I don't want that, my G. I'm straight on that, bro. I'm good. Come on, man.
But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank.
Nor with the what?
Wine which he drank.
Come on.
Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself.
That he might not what?
Defile himself.
Okay.
Now Elohim had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs.
And the prince
of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I
fear
my lord, the king, who have appointed your meat and your drink.
Why you'll see your faces?
Worse liking the children which are of your sort.
Then you shall make me
endanger my head to the king.
Mm-hmm.
This said Daniel to Melzar, whom
the prince
of the eunuchs has set over Daniel,
Hananiah,
Mishael,
and Azariah.
Prove your servants,
I beseech you,
10 days,
and let them give us
pulse to eat
and water to drink. Pulse is vegetables, by the way. That's why some people see, Daniel was a vegetarian. He wasn't a vegetarian for the sake of being a vegetarian. The man didn't want to be fooled up with the king. He sat back and looked at, man, this man putting this spread of food in front of me, man, I'm going to defile myself before this man. Number one, it lets you know defile yourself with the king's meat. 9 times out of 10, he could have been putting unclean food in front of him. You know what I'm talking about? Then on top of that, he knowing, hey, man, this is dainty meats, man. This man using this to deceive me, to try to get me on some junk, to worship his gods or whatever he got going on. Because a lot of y'all don't even pay attention to that because you ready to take every damn thing that somebody offer you, especially if you think they got something, because you're stupid. Because you always got your damn hand out. You're greedy and you're lustful. You ain't even got enough sense to say, I'm good on that. I don't want that. You know what I'm talking about? I'm straight on that. No, I'm good. Somebody you feel like it's a come up for you, you gonna take it because you a jackass. You know what I'm talking about? And when I say you a jackass, that means you ain't been out here. So you don't really be peeping game because your eyes bigger than your appetite. That's how people get caught up in the game. You understand? Like I say, man, I remember the first time I went to jail, man, junk ain't happened to me though, but niggas done told like this. Nigga coming in their room, niggas got moon pies on a nigga bed. Damn fool sit there and eat it. You know what I'm talking about? Now here come a nigga popping up talking about, hey man, where my moon pie at? Oh, I ate that. He said, I want that same moon pie back hole. This man want your booty hole. That's why he put it on your bed. See, you looking crazy, nigga. That's old school penitentiary games. I don't think niggas do that junk no more. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas putting Snicker bars on your bed. You right here. Boy, I remember that junk happened, boy. Nigga came up out and said, which one of you old niggas tried me? Nigga, you ought to shoot me in the face. Because niggas know what that means, man. That's disrespectful. Nigga just tried you. Nigga basically saying, I think you a punk. Because I want to see if you're going to eat that food.
Yeah, you think a nigga looking out for you.
You think a nigga looking out for you. He trying to plug you. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, man, you know how many dudes I seen got up the road, man? Because niggas offering them cigarettes. You think this nigga being nice to you? To be nice to you? This nigga's running the game. Look here, man. You know how many dudes they just talk about Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen got to give his ex-wife half his pension. You know how many women run a game getting with a dude? You think she like you? You's a duck. That's why them dudes be on these gold digger prank videos like that. But that's done different because you just approaching women walking down the street. She don't want to talk to you, bro. You know what I'm talking about? Now you pull up in the Rolls Royce truck. Yeah, now she want to talk to you, nigga, because she like this here. Because y'all already told you this here. A lot of women don't want to admit it. If she don't like nigga and a nigga trying to holler at her and she see he got some resources, he gonna have to pay for her time. That's how y'all mind work. I don't like this nigga, but since y'all want to be all up in my face, he gonna have to pay me. You know what I'm saying? That's how these women raised in this time. But see, if you know that there, you got to deal with, if she acting like a hoe, you got to deal with her like a pimp. And a lot of dudes ain't that. They gonna trick off on them. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's what a lot of women say. Just say you ain't got it. Because they used to niggas who tricking off. She ain't did nothing. She just here and she pretty. And you think you supposed to get something. See, that work with a trick. That don't work with no pimp. And when we talking about a pimp, we talking about a woman, a man putting women on the track. That means that's not working with a man who does not led by his desires. That don't work with a man who values his work, his labor, and the benefits of such more than you. When you deal with a man who value a woman, man, look at, man, it's a lot of dudes, man, they game in their pocket. And if it wasn't for some money, a lot of these boys would be driving a cement truck. You know what I'm talking about? Driving in a cement truck. I'm talking about destitute, looking crazy, because they wouldn't be able to get no women. You know what I'm saying? And now I done got to the point where everybody, I told you before, everybody in America feel like everybody supposed to have some money, and everybody ain't got no money, man. I don't know where everybody get this from. I don't know why everybody think that everybody's supposed to be living in the lap of luxury when nowhere in the history of mankind has a multitude of people of any culture, of any nationality of people, that everybody lived in the lap of luxury. That has never been a reality in the history of mankind. There will only be one reality where everybody dwells in the lap of luxury, and that will be in the Malkuth of Shamahim, and that is it. That is it. There is no society, no country, no system set up by any group of humans where everybody dwelt in the lap of luxury. That has never happened. You know what I'm talking about? That has never happened, and it will not happen until the Malkuth of Shamahim. You know what I'm talking about? And then the sad part is, as we put so much value on the treasures of earth and not the treasures in heaven, you don't value that. We don't value the fact that, boy, if you had something to eat today and your black behind is covered and you ain't have to sleep out the door, give esteem to Elohim, because it's a nigga sleeping outside right now. It's somebody who ain't ate today. You know what I'm talking about? Like straight up and down. We don't consider that because we are a selfish and prideful generation of people. You know what I'm talking about? So we don't consider that. You'll sit back and look at what you ain't got and not pay attention to what you do have. Because if you got Yahuah, you ain't lacking for nothing. But see, the problem is you looking at what you want versus what you need. And I'll say it again. If you got Yahuah, you ain't lacking for nothing. Not nothing. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't lacking for nothing. We don't see it that way for our people as a whole, whether in the word or out the word, because Yahuah is not enough for us. We want more. Now, I don't want that God stuff because, you know, I deserve this type of life. Don't you know deserve is what you earn? That's literally what it means. You don't deserve nothing if you don't do nothing. Don't you hear people, I deserve this. Well, what did you do to get? If you literally look up the definition of deserve, it is what you have earned. You know what I'm talking about? That's literally what it means. So nobody deserves anything if you haven't done anything. You know what I'm talking about? See, if you haven't done the works of faith, you don't deserve the kingdom of heaven. You don't deserve a luxury lifestyle if you ain't did the work. How do you deserve that? Because you alive? Oh, no. That's not what deserve means. Look it up for yourself. It means what you work for, what you earn. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing in this world free, man. You get back what you earn. And if you don't do nothing, then you don't get nothing. Ain't that what the book said? You got to do something to get something. You know what I'm saying? It's only one thing in life that you ain't have to do nothing to get something, and that was the mercy and forgiveness of God. You ain't have to do nothing for that. That was just the love of Elohim. But if you want something, you got to do something. If you don't do nothing, then you don't get nothing. That's how life works. Ain't nothing free. Only tricks give stuff away for free. You know what I'm talking about? And you know why? Because if you get it for free, you don't value it. You don't appreciate it. You know what I'm talking about? You'll just demand more and more and more and more. You know what I'm talking about? Like if you didn't come to Yahuah with the works of faith and then manifest righteousness, and then through that righteousness you live according to that faith, what would he be rewarding you for? Why would he be giving you anything? For what? You ain't gonna appreciate it. How do we know that? Because Yeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Ain't that what your law say? Didn't he say in Ezekiel that he gave you all this stuff and you turned around and did because you didn't do nothing for it? So since you didn't do nothing for it, you didn't appreciate it. You didn't value it because you weren't invested. You know what I'm talking about? And people only value that in which they invest in. And when you're not invested, then shoot, we're going to have to divest. That's how Yahuah see it. If you ain't invested, he going to divest. He going to remove himself from the equation. And that's what it said, Brother Marcus. If you don't work, you don't eat. You know what I'm saying? You have to do something. You got to do, you think you're going to get some money staying at the house? You think it's going to fall out the sky? No, man, you're going to have to get out here and do something. You got women you want to be taken care of, and you think you're just supposed to sit there and look pretty and somebody going to come take care of you? What value do you add to this man for him to take care of you? Ain't nobody, contrary to popular belief, only damn fools is walking around here looking for a woman to take care of, to prove to her why you should let me pay your bills and buy you everything. No, there has to be some value you add into my life to make me say, you know what, I'll take responsibility for you. That's what they put on TV and make you think, man, most of these men out here, man, when men get out here, man, and they find out how hard they got to work to get what they got, man, they ain't sitting around here looking like I'm finna get that away for free. That's if he's trying to do something with his life. If he's trying to make it somewhere. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to make it somewhere. No, I'm not giving that away for free. Not for no coochie. It's coochies everywhere. You know what I'm talking about? How many people they say on the earth? 7 billion. They say it's more women than men. So that means it's 3-4 billion coochies out here. You know what I'm talking about? What makes yours so special? Because if you ain't no virgin, it ain't special. You done gave it away. So that's not special. Somebody had that before. I'm not even your first choice. You know what I'm talking about? You might still be walking around here emotionally connected to another dude. I ain't your first choice. You didn't look at me and say, I want to be with you forever. You had already looked at somebody and thought that. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming around on the back end. I'm not saying that to be funny. This is the reality of life. This is the reality of life that we don't like to deal with because it makes us uncomfortable. You know what I'm talking about? But guess what? You're going to have to be uncomfortable if you want to be able to get to where it is that you want to go and be who it is that you want to be. You go to the gym, you know what you got to do to be able to put on some muscle mass? You're going to have to be uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep going in there doing them 3 sets of 10 of them 90-pound, man. You're going to have to progressively overload. You might have to do some sets to failure. You might need to do some drop sets. You might need to do some double reps. You know what I'm talking about? You might need to do some rest pauses. You're going to have to do something. It's going to have to hurt. But guess what? The pain ain't really in the muscle. The pain in your brain. But you don't want to go through the pain, and that's why you don't go in there and put in that work. You know what I'm talking about? A lot of people don't want to run no business. You want to get rich and say, I'm a CEO and an entrepreneur, but you don't want to go out there and put that money up and make them sacrifices and take them L's. You know what I'm talking about? See, women like to talk about plans, but they don't want to take the responsibility of the execution when it go bad, because it can. You know, I just seen that Rihanna don't even own her company. That's hilarious. I shouldn't even been shocked by that. They say she stepped down as CEO, and they put a white woman in place, and the gentleman put her right on up there. That's a sub. She don't own that company. You know what I'm saying? She's just a good old worker, just the face. Somebody else own that company, which is interesting because, you know, because somebody say, why is she divesting ownership? And it's just like, that was unfortunate that a nigga didn't know that a CEO don't own a company. That's how you know people don't even know nothing. That's how you know niggas don't know nothing. I'm the CEO. CEO don't mean owner. It means chief executive officer. You know what I'm saying? That's corporate structure. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Most people who have a corporate structure and they not publicly traded, they don't understand what that means. You know what I'm saying? Because you could not be the CEO, but you could be the majority shareholder, which means you hold the executive seat on the board of directors. That's a whole nother conversation. You know what I'm saying? That's why they could never do nothing with Vince McMahon, because he held the most shares of WWE stock. When you own all the shares, you call all the shots. You make all the decisions. It doesn't matter who the CEO is. You know what I'm talking about? Matter of fact, I can pick who the CEO is because I got all the shares. I got all the stock. You know what I'm saying? But that's because people don't understand corporate structure. They just like titles. I'm a CEO.
They don't get to call all the shots because the board don't agree with it.
Yeah, the board can shut down what the CEO want to do. The CEO is just the face.
That don't benefit us.
So we're not doing it. The CEO answers to the board like the president answers to Congress. You know what I'm saying? Because the president, for all intents and purposes, is a CEO. And Congress is the board of directors. You know what I'm talking about? And then when it get past that, then that's what you got the Supreme Court for. That's how they set that up. But that's a serious conversation. Who cares about that? Let's go. Where you at? Good.
Daniel 1.
Daniel, we good as far as you see that. He wanted vegetables. Come over here to Daniel 10. But I say that because, when your people ain't got nothing going on, you look for anything to prop yourself up and make yourself feel better about yourself. You know what I'm saying? So you'll look for anything, even if it don't make no sense. Daniel 10:1, listen to him.
In the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a thing was revealed unto Daniel, whose name was called Belshazzar, and a thing true, but the time appointed long, and he understood the thing, and had understanding of the vision.
In those days,
I, Daniel, was mourning 3 full weeks.
How many weeks?
3 full weeks.
So he was sad for 3 weeks, and in the sadness for 3 weeks, what he didn't do?
I ate no pleasant bread,
Neither
came flesh nor wine in my mouth.
Neither
did I anoint myself at all, till the 3 whole weeks were
fulfilled.
Notice,
he said no flesh. So Daniel ate animals. He just didn't want the animals that came from Nebuchadnezzar. But notice what he denied himself. That means for 3 weeks, that man ate vegetables and water because he was sad. He said no pleasant bread, no good leavened bread, no sweet leavened bread, no sweet unleavened bread, no sweet leavened bread, no nothing. I'm just going to eat vegetables and water for 3 weeks because he was sad. Not because that you got to understand something. When you fast, you don't eat nothing. You don't eat anything. You got an appointed fast. It's the Day of Atonement. But then you can fast whenever you want. And of course, what's the purpose of fasting? For your voice to be heard on high. That's what Isaiah 58 told you. That's the purpose of it. But most of us don't want our voices heard on high. Daniel 9:1, man. Listen to him.
In the 1st year of Darius, king of Assurus, of the seed of the Medes, which was made king.
Oh, that's Xerxes. I know how to read, but that's Xerxes. That's buddy from 300.
Yeah. Which was made king over the realm of the Chaldeans. In the 1st year of his reign, Daniel understood by books the number of the years.
He understood by what?
By books.
Why did nigga keep telling y'all? I mentioned it every time. Why do people keep telling y'all they ain't had no word? And he said he understood by books by what?
The number of the years whereof the word of Yahuah came to Jeremiah the prophet, that he would accomplish 70 years.
So Daniel understood by the word that's in the book of Jeremiah that they were going to be in Babylon 70 years. How else was he going to understand it? Go ahead.
In the desolations of Jerusalem. And I set my face unto Yahuah Elohim to seek by prayer and supplications with fasting.
With what?
With fasting.
Tell him what fast. Now you see right here say he was fasting.
That is a fast. That's sown. A fast.
So now you see right here he was fasting.
And sackcloth and ashes.
But notice that when he said that he went to fasting, what was the key component that he was doing? He was seeking Yahuah by what?
By prayer.
And what else?
Supplication.
Now hold on 1 second. Come over here to Isaiah 58. I'll read it to you. Isaiah 58 and 3. Matter of fact, you can make it 2. Yet they seek me daily and delight to know my ways, a nation that did righteousness and forsook not the ordinance of the Elohim. They ask of me the ordinances of justice. They take delight in approaching the Elohim. Wherefore have we fasted and you see not? Have we afflicted our soul and you take no knowledge? Behold, in the days of your fast you find pleasure and exact all your labors. Behold, you fast for strife and debate and to smite with the fist of wickedness. You shall not fast as you do this day to make your voice heard on high. Is it such a fast that I have chosen a day for a man to afflict his soul, to bow down his head as a bulrush and to spread sackcloth and ashes? Will you call this a fast, an acceptable day to Yahuah? Not this fast that I've chosen to loose the bands of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, and to let the oppressed go free, that you break every yoke. See, and he talking about a day of atonement, and it's talking about to set you free from sin and all of the things of this nature. Well, this is why Daniel is praying, because the people are in sin, and he know for 70 years they got to be here. He know that Jerusalem was destroyed because of the sin that they committed. So he said, I want to seek unto Yahuah with prayer and supplication. So I'm going to come with mourning, with the sackcloth and ashes for the level of humility, and I'm going to afflict my soul, so that maybe that my voice can be heard. And that see, a lot of people think Yahuah gonna move when you want him to move. Boy, that man say 70 years, and they were gonna be in Babylon 70 years, not 68, not 71, but 70. And it wasn't nothing you were gonna do to make him go back on that word. You were gonna be there 70 years. Read verse 3 one more time. Daniel 9.
And I set my face unto Yahuah Elohim to seek by prayer and supplications with fasting and sackcloth and ashes. And I prayed unto Yahuah my Elohim and made my confession.
And he made what?
My confession.
And said,
O Yahuah, the great and dreadful Elohim,
keeping
the covenant and mercy to them that love him and to them that keep his commandments.
We have what?
Sinned.
We have what?
Have sinned.
And what else did we do?
Committed iniquity.
And what else have we done?
Have done wickedly.
And what else did we
have
do?
Rebelled.
By doing what?
Departing from your precepts.
And from your what?
Your judgment.
And what we didn't do?
Neither have we hearkened unto your servants, the prophets.
Which did what?
Spake in your name to our kings, our princes, and our fathers, and to all the people of the land.
Oh, master.
Righteousness unto you.
Now what people don't understand, the righteousness belong to him. Go ahead.
But unto us confusion of faces, as at this day to the men of Yehudah.
And the inhabitants.
Of Jerusalem.
And the all.
Yasharal.
Near.
Far off.
Through all
the countries where you have driven them,
because of their
trespass,
that they have trespassed
against you.
O Lord, to us,
confusion of face
to our kings,
to our princes,
and our fathers,
because we have sinned against you.
To Yahuah our Elohim,
mercies and forgiveness.
To Yahuah our Elohim,
mercies and forgiveness.
Though we have what?
Rebelled against
That's
him.
what you need to understand. You don't rebel, but mercy and forgiveness is with him. Just like he said in Exodus. Go ahead.
Neither have we obeyed the voice of Yahuah Elohim
to walk what?
In his laws,
which he set before who?
Us, by his servants, the prophets.
Yea, all.
Yasharal have transgressed your law.
By doing what?
Departing.
And they didn't obey what?
That they might not obey your voice.
Therefore, what's on us?
The curse is poured upon us.
And the oath.
That written in the law of Moses, the servant of Elohim.
Because we what?
Have sinned against him.
And he confirmed it.
His words.
Which he did what?
Spake against us.
And against our who?
Our judges.
And they did what?
That judged us.
And he brought what on you?
A great evil.
For under what?
The whole Shamahim have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem.
Written in the law
of Moses.
All this
evil has come upon us.
Yet we made not what?
Our prayer before Yahuah Elohim.
That we might what?
Turn from our iniquities and understand your truth.
So he telling you that these people ain't want to confess their sins. See, to turn to the man, you're going to have to confess. We're going to go back to the word confession in verse 4 in a minute. Come on with it, man.
Therefore have Yahuah watched upon the evil and brought it upon us. Yahuah Elohim righteous in all his works.
Which he do, for we didn't do what?
We obeyed not his voice.
See, this is the thing about that man sat back and watched you die because you thought he was playing. Go ahead.
And now, O Yahuah Elohim, that have brought your people forth out of the land of Egypt with a mighty hand, and have gotten you renowned, as at this day
we have what?
Sinned.
And we have done what?
Wickedly.
O Lord.
According to all your righteousness.
I beg you.
Let your anger and your fury be turned away from your city, Jerusalem, your Kadon.
Because of what?
For our sins.
For the iniquities
of our fathers.
Jerusalem.
And your people.
Or what?
Reproach to all about us.
Now.
Therefore, O our Elohim, hear the prayer of your servant and his supplications. Cause your face to shine upon your sanctuary that is desolate for the Lord's sake.
O my Elohim.
Incline your ear and hear. Open your eyes. Behold our desolation.
The city.
Which is called by your name, for we do not present our supplications before you for our righteousness, but for your great mercy.
See, that's the biggest problem we got now. You want to see, I keep the law. You ain't seeking this man for his mercies. You think you got some manner of righteousness why he ought to hear you. Listen what he said. He said, our supplications before you are not for our righteousness, but for your great mercies. Listen to verse 19.
O Lord, hear, O Lord, forgive, O Lord, hearken and do.
Defer not.
For your own sake,
O my Elohim,
for your city and your people are called by your name.
Now look at what happened right here. And while
speaking and praying and confessing my sin and the sin of my people, Yasharal,
presenting
my supplication before Yahuah, my Elohim, For the Kadash Mount of Elohim,
Yea, wow.
speaking in prayer, even the man Gabriel,
Whom I seen,
in the vision at the beginning, being caused to fly swiftly,
touched me.
about the time of the evening oblation.
And he informed.
And talked with me and said, O Daniel, I am now come forth to give you skill and understanding.
At the beginning
of your supplication,
the commandment
came forth,
and I am come
to show for you
are what?
Greatly beloved.
Therefore, understand the matter.
And consider the vision.
Understand, right? This man was praying for the people to be redeemed, and he gave him a vision of what Yahushua was coming to do. That's what he did after he did all. He said, from the minute you started praying, the instruction came forth for me to come show you this. Now tell him what confession means in verse 20 and verse 4.
Verse 4 is yada,
which is a word we talked about before. Remember, that ends with a ayin.
That's the one that ends at hey.
The ones that ends at hey, and then of course the other yada ends with an ayin. Tell him what confessing is in verse 20.
That's yada too.
So it's the same word as fourth is confessing.
That's the one that ends with hey.
You know what I'm talking about? He's confessing the sins of the people. Yad, Dalet, and Hey. He has beheld the sacrifice of the right hand of God, which is what he gets to behold in this chapter 9, because he shows him exactly what the man was coming to do, which is to make a reconciliation of iniquity, to finish the transgression, to make an end of sins, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, because this man was praying for a redeemer. And the key component of why I kept focusing on what was in verse 18. And whatever verse it is, I can't remember what it said.
I'm praying for the great mercies.
No. Well, I already mentioned that verse, but it's another one where he say the mercies, right at verse 9. He was making confession that he and his people needed a redeemer. This is also an example of he that humbleth himself shall be exalted, and he that exalts himself shall be abased. Because the book tell you in chapter 6 that Daniel was without spot and blemish. Ain't that what it said? Let me show it to you if you ain't know what I'm talking about. Right here in verse 4. Say this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes because of excellent ruach in him, and the king set him over the whole realm. That the president and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. And Daniel did separate himself from his people and say, you know what? I ain't a sinner like them. But see, that's the benefit. Remember not, he said he sought him by fasting, because he sought to afflict his soul and to make supplication unto Yahuah for mercy and forgiveness. He said as soon as he started praying, he said, man, I'm going to show you how I'm going to forgive y'all. I'm going to show you how I'm going to redeem you from this curse. This is a part of when you're dealing with that sacrifice of thanksgiving and that sacrifice of praise, and also showing you how Yahushua himself, as the Second Chronicle said, that this is a house of sacrifice, that Yahushua is that house of sacrifice, because we can make spiritual sacrifices acceptable to Elohim by Yahushua HaMashiach, and you can come straight to the altar and to find help in the time of need. Get it for him, man. Hebrews 4:14. You can make it 13. We finna wrap this up. It's after 11. After 11. You ever went to after 11? I ain't ever go in. After 11, about bigger than the living room. Hole in the wall. Right on. Oh, what I think it was right somewhere on McDonald. I can't remember where it was. I was in the parking lot. Somewhere around there. I'm talking about that junk was like, I remember one time my homeboy was in there. He said, boy, they went to shooting, boy. We felt like we was trapped in there like sardines. They trying to get up out that little junk, man. Yeah, I ain't never go inside there. It wasn't my thing, though. That was the time I was out there with my dog, man. We in the light. 2 chicks walk up. He trying to act like he player. He like, man, you ain't saying nothing to him. I'm like, the Cadillac doing all the talking. You know what I'm talking about? They either gonna get in or they ain't. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't gotta talk when you're sitting in the Cadillac. That's what they came over here for. They thought you thought they came over here because we were handsome. Like, come on, bro. Thought you like this. He thought you was a player. I'm like, clearly you ain't. Nigga, I'm in the driver's seat. Man, that's one thing I knew, man. I told you this here, man. I done told y'all before. Tightwad told me, man, when I was 16 years old, get your money, man. Them hoes gonna come. And when they come, make sure you pick the right one. You know what I'm saying? And I understood what he was saying. Now, see, you laughing about it, but the point of what he was saying is, if you take the time to develop yourself as a man, you know what I'm talking about? You don't have to go after women. Women will come to you. And then when they come, you got to make sure that you select the proper woman. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, that's what he said. No, he didn't say right ho. He said, man, get your money, man. Them hoes gonna come. He said, but when they come, make sure you pick the right one. You know what I'm saying? This is a street nigga. This is how he talk. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't never forget that. As long as man, look at man, it's almost 27 years later. I still remember that and be telling y'all I ain't never forget that. Cause I understood his point. You don't have to chase women. You don't have to pursue women. If you get yourself to what you need to be as a man, they'll come to you. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't got to do all that. If you focus on what it is you're supposed to be doing, you'll be the woman on your way. You ain't got to be going out here chasing women, looking for women. Because that means you ain't focused on what you're supposed to be doing. You got a lot of dudes, man, they be in the word, I need a wife. If you will focus on Yahuah, your wife, you'll come across her. She'll come to you. You ain't got to go looking for her. You know what I'm talking about? When you go on to looking for her, that means your priorities out of whack. You ain't focusing on being the best man you're supposed to be. You're supposed to build yourself mentally. You're supposed to build yourself spiritually. You're supposed to build yourself financially. You're supposed to build yourself physically and to be the best possible version that you can be. And when you can do that, then that woman will come to you. But the thing is a lot of gentlemen don't know how to discern that that's not the right woman. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of dudes lead with their wallet. You know what I'm talking about? So when you do that, now you claiming about how she using you for your money. Well, you the dummy. You ain't picked the right one. Oh, yeah. He told me that I wasn't too big on doing it anyway. But once he told me that, yeah, man, I'd rather have me some money, man. Because I'm telling you, right? You pull up like what them dudes be doing. If you pull up in a Rolls Royce, you ain't got to say nothing to no one. They going to come to you. You know what I'm talking about? If you coming through and you fresh, and you know what I'm saying, and you getting it, you ain't got to be like, hey, what's up? Women are going to show you attraction confirmation. They're going to come to you. You ain't got to do all that. You know what I'm saying? But when you ain't did all that, now you chasing women. And like how women be dudes, what one lady just posted the other day, like these dudes always online complaining about this here is starting to feel weird because they're not taking the time to build themselves as a man and the women don't want them. So they're upset that women don't want them. Well, nigga, you're broke. You're sloppy body. You know what I'm talking about? You're weird. Of course they don't want you, sir. Build yourself up. They'll come to you. But see, some people look at that's weak. This, that. You call it what you want. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not chasing after you for what? I'd rather chase after excellence. You know what I'm saying? Excellence lasts longer. You know what I'm saying? That ain't got nothing to do with women at all. I would just prefer to chase after excellence. You know what I'm talking about? And if I'm chasing, I ain't gonna chase but one thing in my life. You know what that is, Doris? The who? You said money? Oh no, I'm only chasing the lamb. I ain't chasing. You ain't got to chase no money. If you put in work and you be consistent, you know what I'm talking about? You ain't got to chase that. Be dead honest with you. Depending on what you do for a living, if your service is impeccable or your product is good, you know what I'm talking about, and you put your clients and customer service first, you ain't even got to chase the money. That's gonna come to you too. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to chase no money. I ain't gonna lie to you. See, we'll say chasing money, but it's really getting up and going to work and handling your business. But if you do things properly, you ain't got to chase no money because the money gonna come to you. You do good business, money coming to you. You know what I'm saying? Because people going to speak on you. They're going to recommend you. And you're going to get phone calls. You're going to get hits on your website. People going to want to do business with you. You ain't got to chase no money neither. You know what I'm talking about? Just got to be consistent and be good at what you do. It'll come to you. I'm only chasing the lamb. That's the only thing. I'm running the race with patience. That's the only thing I'm chasing. I ain't chasing no money. I ain't chasing after no human beings. I ain't chasing after no woman. I'm only chasing the lamb. That's the only thing I'm pursuing because he got the one thing that ain't nobody on this earth got, and that's eternal life. So I got to pursue him. I got to pursue him. You know what I'm talking about? Got to. That when he walked by, he said, what? Follow me. Ain't that what he said? Yeah, I got to pursue him. I ain't pursuing nothing else. That ain't no disrespect to nobody. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? See, when you're chasing something, that means it's running away from you. You know what I'm talking about? If you're pursuing after something, that means, hey, man, because you know a lot of people say you should pursue the woman you want. What does that even mean? Because it should be some reciprocity on that. If she want to rock with me, then I ain't got to pursue her. It's a mutual meeting of the minds. You know what I'm talking about?
Pursue.
There ain't no reason to pursue. I like you, you like me. Well, let's make that happen. I ain't got to do all that. Do all that for what? I'm doing all that because you want me to put you on a pedestal. You know what I'm talking about? You want me to elevate you to a particular position, which could be borderline me worshiping you at a particular point. If I'm not mentally and emotionally, spiritually stable. We don't even realize that that's what they're doing. This is not no knock on nobody. This is what it is. This is real life. If you don't understand how that could be detrimental to your mind, why you think dudes be feeling the way they be feeling when that woman leaves? Because he done put her here. Now she gone. He's destroyed. He's destroyed. That's why these dudes be getting guns and going about, I'm going to kill her and a new nigga. That's why that happens. Because he's like, man, I done did all this and I done did all this and did all this. I pursued after her and did that, then the third, then she leaving. Now he done dedicated his whole life to somebody. Now you can't do that, man. Look at, man, you rocking with me, I'm rocking with you. Hey, man, we're going to do what it is that we need to do. And if you don't want to do it, then that's fine. But it's better to chase excellence, man. And what's better than chasing the lamb? Because that's the excellent of the excellent. There ain't nowhere in the world you ain't going to be the best version of you chasing the lamb. Because that means every day you taking up your stake following him to be better than what you wore the day before. What I've been telling y'all for years, don't worry about, I can never stop sinning. It's just one day at a time, man, to be better than what you wore the day before. Your life ain't but a vapor, so you ain't know if you're going to be here tomorrow anyway. You know what I'm talking about? So all you need to do is be better today than what you wore yesterday. See, if you're not trying to be better than what you wore the day before, you just a waste of space. You know what I'm talking about? You suck. Because that means you not even got it in your mind that I want to be great, that I want to be better, and that I'm willing to do the things necessary to do so. You know what I'm saying? So see, as a man, you got to learn that. I mean, if you go to the gym, you need to be better in the gym to tomorrow than you was yesterday. And you was today. You need to be better. If it's business, you need to be better at it than you were the day before. It's always about I need to improve. Because I know I'll never meet the apex of my abilities, because the day I meet the apex of my abilities is the day that I die. Ain't that what Paul said? He said, I finished the course. I ran the race. A crown of righteousness is laid up for me. He said, I chase after. Get it for him, man. Philippians 3:9. You know what I'm saying? One thing I can say, praise be to Elohim and Shamahim in the name of Yahuah for it. The man give you the blueprint of how a man supposed to move. How you supposed to view life. Philippians 3:8.
Yea, doubtless, and I count all things lost for the excellency of the knowledge of Mashiach, Yahushua my master.
See, Paul already letting you know he willing to make that sacrifice of everything he got in his life just for the testimony.
For whom I have suffered the loss of all things.
Suffered the what?
The loss of all things.
He said, I sacrifice all of it.
And do count them dung, that I may win Mashiach.
That's right.
And be found in him, not having my own righteousness.
Which is of the
law.
But the righteousness.
Which is through the faith of Mashiach.
Amen.
The righteousness which is of Elohim by faith.
That's right.
That I may know him in the power of his resurrection. In the fellowship of his sufferings, being made conformable unto his death. If by any means I might attain unto the resurrection of the dead.
If by any means I might attain unto what?
The resurrection of the dead.
But what did he say after that?
Not as though I had already attained.
Not as if I already attained.
Either were already perfect, but I follow after.
But he do what?
But I follow after.
But he do what?
I follow after.
He do what?
Follow after.
Okay.
If that I may apprehend that for which also I apprehended of Mashiach Yahushua.
He said, I follow after that I might get it. So each and every day I move to perfect myself to be better than what I was the day before. Not that I've gotten it, but that I keep going after it, that I might attain it. Because I take up my stake daily and follow him. Though my inner man, though the outward man perish, the inner man is renewed day by day, because I'm seeking to become great and be a best version of myself each and every day that I breathe. Not that, I got it, so I'm good. No, I'm going to keep going. That's why when you see a lot of people who really get money and you be like, why do people don't chill out? Why they don't? Because if I had that kind of money, because it's not about the money for them, it's about the improvement. It's about what they're chasing after. The money's just a byproduct. Now, some people are just greedy. You know what I'm talking about? And they want as much money as they possibly can get. Let's not make that an overarching thing that's the case for some of them. But some people, it's the challenge of, I don't want to sit back and be comfortable, because the minute that I'm comfortable is the day that I lose. And nothing comes out of being in the space of being comfortable. Greatness comes from being made uncomfortable and doing the things that you may not necessarily want to do, but it has to be done in order to achieve the objective. Most people do not reach anything in life because they want to be comfortable. That's why most people do not obtain anything of note, because they want to be comfortable.